Hey, Supernatural fans, we are back. Well, I am back, and we're talking about episode 12 and 13 of Supernatural. Stay tuned!
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Supernatural After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. I am your host, Alexis Torres. You guys can find me all over social media at atorres890. Sorry, I just had to do a dance break real quick because I love this song. The reason I picked this song is because I need you guys to save me from these episodes, because the first one was crazy, the second one was like, what twist? And I'm so glad that you guys are here to deal with that with me. So don't forget to follow Lucretia Lion at Lucretia Lion and Shauna at DShaunaO all over the interwebs, because they're awesome ladies and you should follow them. So let's get into these episodes because we have 2 to cover and it is insane. So we have episode 12 first, which is pretty awesome. It's called Various and Sundry Villans. I hope I got that one right. But it's very cool because we have the redheaded queen back, which is Rowena. And I'm so happy that she's finally back in the show because I needed... Guys, I have qualms. Just a little bit. Just little tiny qualms that I need this song to help me, to save me from them, because you guys know my issues with women on this show. We just had an episode 2 episodes ago with the spin-off that we're going to be having, the Wayward Sisters, and how they're so great. But in this one, we had 2 witch sisters that were really, really cool, and they want to bring back their mom, the Plum Sisters. But the other women in the show were just kind of like, oh my god, like, we have to do this, or anything like that. And the fact that, okay, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna bring it back. Because I don't want to get angry with this. But also, again, I'm still happy that you guys are all here to live chat with me. Use the live chat to, sorry, I'm just reading the chat now. So Chill 4, yes, that's BTS. I am an ARMY fan. It's all good. But yes, I'm, like I was saying earlier, I'm really happy that Rowena is back because I needed that strong female back in the show because I wasn't really happy with the ladies in the show today. So, but we'll get into it. So, Plum Sisters are here. They're using a love spell to get what they need, and they need to bring their mom back. Obviously, we didn't find that out until way later into the episode, but it was, I didn't know what they needed the book for. So I didn't know if they were just using men to just kind of glaze over of like little things that they needed, but I also wasn't, I don't know, I feel like there wasn't enough of the Plum Sisters for me to like really understand what they were going for, if that makes any sense, you know what I mean? So I don't know, the Plum Sisters, I wanted more of them, but in a different way. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way with me, but either way, hold on. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading the chat now, and they're like, Rowena was in episode 12, and I'm like, yeah, I'm talking about that. But anyway, so Sam and Dean are obviously doing research to find Jack, and they're having a hard time because obviously we know that Jack is in the apocalypse world with Mary, and they're trying to just, you know, figure out a way. But I can also tell in this episode that Sam is having a really hard time, which I'm glad that we brought up into the episode later, because I feel like the boys are so down. And I think that's really cool that this season is actually kind of using the fact that these boys have been going through so much with their losses, because this is probably not the first season, but it's one of the few seasons that we have to deal with them just pretty much at a low, you know, and dealing with the fact that they can't find Jack, their mom's gone, there's no hope, which is very cool because we talk about that in episode 13 with Lucifer and Hope. So I like that it's kind of all working together. I don't know, I think it's really, really cool. So they're still trying to figure out what it is. They're also waiting for Cass to update them, which we shoot over to Lucifer and Cass, where Lucifer's kind of losing it a little bit when it comes to wanting to get out, but also using Cass's grace and all that kind of stuff. Also, y'all, Dipper? Why? Why is that a name? I was hoping maybe it was like a nickname for something, or maybe it was like some sort of inside joke for maybe the crew, or specifically, I don't know. Dipper is not a very what's the word? Like, intimidating demon name. So I was just like, do you dip the people into like acid or something or what? I don't know. I was just thinking of like the good place in this episode, of just the fact of like, there has to be a reason why you're called Dipper. That's what I need to know. Anyway, so where am I here? So then we go into Lucifer saying that he just needs a little bit of his grace and he'll just get through it. Everything will be fine and it'll all be good. And Cass is just like, no, you don't need that. You just need to figure out another way to get your powers up. And of course, apparently insulting Lucifer is the only way to get his mojo moving. And we can just kind of put Cass and Lucifer in now, because their parts were kind of all over the place throughout the episode. So Lucifer realizes that if Cass gets him angry enough, he can use his powers, because he was messing with that stick earlier and then he threw it up against the wall when Cass was talking about Jack. Now, obviously, Dipper comes back and starts messing with him because he hears Cass saying all these weird things and realizes that Lucifer gets more power the more angrier he is. And they were able to break out. So I thought that was genius. I love that they were working together for this split second and they had to fight off all these crazy demons and then they got out. This next part I was not anticipating, which was pretty much where Lucifer's at his end. He's losing his grace and he's kind of out of juice and he's just kind of like, I just need a little bit more from you and I will be totally fine. And of course Cass is not having it because he's sassy Cass and was just like, no, you can't have any of this. And he pretty much, they get into a fight and I thought this was it, because when he stabbed Lucifer in the stomach or the chest or anywhere in this region, I was like, oh, okay, so what now? Is he dead? Is it over? What's going on? But I know that obviously you can't do that because obviously his eyes would light up and everything would leave. So I knew that he wasn't dead, but I was very confused for a split second. But I also knew that Cass was also in trouble. So Sassy Cass is the best Cass. I agree. ABK88. So it was interesting seeing that, because I was just like, oh, so that's okay, I guess, all right, cool, question mark. I was like, I guess I'll just put a pin in that for later, because I would like to know what happens to their dynamic after. But anyway, so Cass and Lucifer have gotten out, trying to figure out their own stuff. Now we can go back to the boys. So Dean goes out, tries to get beer, gets caught up with our Plum Sisters, and of course, just like this, just so quick, Dean falls into this love spell. If you didn't see the beginning of the episode, the whole point was there was a guy at a gas station. The girls use their love spell to get a hold of him. He kills the Quickie Mart guy, and then he also dies by sledgehammer to the head. Fun. But in this case, they use Dean to get the book, which is what they needed, which is Rowena's book. And I just love how he saunters in. Sam's doing all this research and like banging his head on the table, kind of like, oh my God, I'm so tired and I'm trying to figure out and trying to help. And Dean just like, I need this book. It's a gift for Jenny and I can't wait to give it to her. And I was just like, what is happening? And I love how Sam's just like, okay, you're acting kind of weird. I need you to give me the book back. And then just full on, just like right in the jaw, knocks him out. And he's like, oh, sorry, brother. And just like walks away. And in my head, I'm going, why? Why can't our boys just protect themselves? They have this tattoo. Why? And so as cringy as it was, I was okay with it because it was really funny to watch love struck Dean in this scenario. But at the same time, I was like, you guys are too old for this. You should know better. But of course, that wasn't his fault. So obviously, when he goes back to bring the book, Sam follows him. And I love how like she was like, he didn't bring the car. I wanted the car. And I'm like, girl, me too. But not obviously in this aspect. And of course, Sam shows up and he's like, hey, give me that back. And of course, Dean like goes over there and like, he's like, you're going to shoot her? Like that face that he made when he was like, you're going to shoot her? The love of my life. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't with the Winchesters right now, y'all. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but oh my Lord, I was like, this is too much. And of course they're fighting. They take the book and they leave. And Rowena shows up in those gorgeous heels and is just like, hello, boys. And I was like, yay, someone has to say it now because we don't have Crawley. And speaking of that scene when Rowena is talking to them back at base is what I call it. And she finds out about Fergus. And I forgot how she had no idea about Crawley since she was burned and smashed to smithereens, which was unfortunate. And I want to know what you guys think about this. So obviously she was very upset, which in my head I was like, okay, I understand that she was his mom, but she also was like not necessarily around all the time. But I love that she showed sadness because it is still her son, even though they don't get along. So I did like that. I just thought it was, at first for a second, I was like, this seems out of place because I feel like you guys fight all the time. But it's still your son. Either way, even when he's dead. Like, especially because that was the last of her family. Like, that's it. So I found that, one, she's an amazing actress. So I was, like, crying with her. I felt really bad. But at the same time, I was kind of like, okay. But then we cut back for a split second when they were talking. We cut back to the Plum Sisters in the store. And I feel like I counted how many times they said like. I don't know if that was a character choice or if that's just how the actresses talk. But y'all, it was driving me crazy. They were just like, we can do this and like, we can do that. You know what I mean? And I was just like, what is happening? You guys are such badass witches. Why are you acting so dumb? But again, I think that was a character choice, not, obviously the actresses, but I was just like, ugh. And then they had that moment with the store clerk and she's just like, are you gonna pay for that? And I was like, what is happening? What is the scene right now? And they're just like, shut up, Brenda. Oh, you're such a bitch. And I was like, what is this scene? I need a scene where women can talk intelligibly to each other in a setting. I don't know. It hurt my soul. Deanna Hughes says she was so shocked and angry that he was gone, and it finally hit her that he was dead, and it was like she couldn't believe how much it affected her. Billie Jean. Also, they were blonde. It was a lot, Casket fan. It was a lot because even in the scene where they were trying to resurrect her mom and they were kind of having like a cis powwow, there was a lot of likes in there too, especially from not Jenny, but the other sister, which I can't remember her name. They said Jenny a lot in this episode, but I don't remember the other name. But I felt like my brain was melting. Oh yeah. Huge. The Bechdel test definitely failed in this episode, unfortunately. The clerk was awesome, but I will go back to that in a second. So of course Rowena's like, I want to help you because I need this book. It has a spell in there that's supposed to help me get all my powers back because I don't want to go through the same thing of Lucifer, trapping me and then bashing my brains in and then burning me alive. I never want to do that again, especially the fact that she saw his real face or his real face. So it was, again, I really loved this more vulnerable Rowena, but also knowing that she's like, I'm taking matters into my own hands because this is my body. This is, I'm taking care of this. And if you guys are just going to sit around and not do what I need you to do, I'm going to do it myself. And I've always loved Rowena about Rowena. So it's really good to have her back. And I can't wait to see what else. Is it Jennifer Renji? That might make sense. I mean, I don't know. I was just like, ugh. Or Jamie? I don't know. Jamie and Jenny. Okay, because I heard Jenny first, but I didn't hear the other girl's name, and I thought that I thought they said Joe, and I was like, that's not Jensen Ackles' wife, so she can't be Joe. I don't know what's happening. So, either way, they decide, Rowena tells the boys that the only way they can find these girls is that you have to check around town and definitely ask more women than men because there's probably a lot of women who do not like these girls. And I went, oh no, I hate this trope, but it's probably really true. And of course, Dean finds the clerk and she's, and of course she goes through the stages of like, oh, let me guess, you're heartbroken and you want your heart back. Please tell me where these girls are. And then Dean goes, no, I want to pretty much like put them in, like not put them in the ground, but like I want to stop them. And the first thing she does, she goes and grabs a receipt and starts writing information down. And I'm like, you don't know this guy. I mean, we know that Dean is a killer in his own right, but in my head, as another female going, okay, I know these girls are dumb sometimes. They're also very mean and they're also very destructive. I get that. But I'm also assuming that Brenda doesn't know what they actually are, unless maybe she does. I have no idea. And she was just like, yeah, you want to take care of them, quotations, sure, here's their address, here's their phone number, their social security, all of it, just take it. And I'm just like, he could be a serial killer, he could be a rapist, you don't know, he might not be even a cop. It's just, you should, I don't know, because I also know that they're evil people, but at the same time, I'm like, you don't know. And I just like, I had such a conflicting moment of like, they're also, if you didn't know what they were, they could have been just human beings who were just terrible people, but also, they are terrible people and they're witches and they're just killing people. I was in the middle. It was hard. Let me see. Rendy said the actress that plays Jamie, I know from Sci-Fi. Ooh, Ghost Wars. Yeah, Jenny and Jamie. Thanks, guys. So she gives their information. Rowena comes over, and obviously we have that talk in the car of Rowena talking about how she's still scared and sees Lucifer's real face every time that she closes her eyes, and she doesn't want to be that scared again. Sam finally reveals that he sees his face every night, and he has to deal with the fact of dealing with kind of like his depression, a little bit of what happened, or post-traumatic stress disorder of that scenario and how it's haunting him, and how he understands where she's coming from. And then she gets out and she's like, I just need a minute. And in my head, I'm going, this is Rowena we're talking about here. Of course she'll need a minute, but you should like watch her like a hawk. But you know, we have to move the story along. So of course she puts a spell on them. She sees the address, knows what it is, and decides to go find the girls. She found them, and then we get that itty bitty twist of like, why did you take the book and did not call me, or something like that? You know, why didn't you say anything? Also, I felt really bad for that other clerk worker, the boy who was there, who's just innocent and just wanted to let Jenny know how much he loved her, and then he just bled to death in a chair. Oh, it was awful. And how she made a deal with them, and they're like, well, you were taking too long, and we wanted to do it ourselves. And I appreciated them at that point in time of like, yeah, good for you that you wanted to do it on your own. But also, Rowena has been here longer. She is a badass witch who has crazy powers. Just, you don't even know how high her levels are. But instead, you decide to backstab her? Is that really a good choice? But again, I didn't say that these girls were really smart, which makes me really sad. So, of course, they do bring back their mother, but there's something wrong with her, which if anybody watches anime, this reminded me of Full Metal Alchemist for a second, if anybody knows what that is. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's pretty close. And how the mom was a zombie, and pretty much she was, like, attacking Rowena. And so Rowena, of course, running to the bathroom and, like, holding herself up so that the zombie couldn't get in. The boys finally show up when they get rid of the spell that Rowena put on them, and show up and just start fighting straight up. And of course, I always feel bad because the boys are always getting beat up, but I also kind of enjoyed seeing them get beat up by a bunch of ladies. I was like, oh, you guys. And but this part, like, my jaw was on the floor, was when Rowena finally was able to kill their mother. And in my head, I was like, okay, if your mother was just killed again, I would be like, you know, because they were still on, like, holding the boys down when Rowena had the gun and shot the mom in the head. But in my head, I was like, if my mom was just shot in front of me, I would have been like, push myself off the boys, go over there and start, like, running over. But instead, they were still kind of holding the boys down. Rowena does a spell, and then they slowly back off. And then she takes control of them, does another spell, and this is the part that my jaw was on the floor. I thought she was going to backstab them and have them try to go after Sam and Dean again, but with this time no restraints. But instead, Rowena decides to have them kill each other with that was insane. I don't know how anybody else felt about that scene, but that was nuts, watching them stab and, like, just rip each other apart. Like, it was nuts. And it was really funny because my husband was watching with me, and he was just like, oh, and I was like, yay, Supernatural really knows how to get you in. And it was crazy. And it just really showed, like, you don't mess with Rowena. You just don't. And the fact that she's doing this at, like, half power level, like, it's not even her full potential. She's so scary, but she's so cool at the same time. And that's what I want in my ladies of Supernatural. Like, she's just, she's the bomb.com. Anyway, so she reveals, of course, she's like, I that's the whole point of me showing you that I didn't want to betray you. I just wanted what I needed. I need this spell. I need it. You understand more than anybody, Sam. I need this. And I knew immediately. I was like, Sam's going to give her the page, at least the page. And especially because he was still turned when he gave her the book and she walked off. I was like, she has that spell, please. And I love the reveal after when they get back to base and Dean opens up the book and is like, that page is ripped out right there. Why do you do this? She's not our friend. But I love that Sam goes, I understand what she's going through. I understand that she's scared and she just needs something to help her along with it. And if she does decide to double cross us, triple cross us again, I will hunt her myself. And I was like, respect, sir. Good for you. And that's pretty much how the episode ended, with Rowena sitting there and she unlocked her full powers, which I don't know if anyone else got goosebumps, but that last scene or that last shot of her where the room goes completely dark from all the candles being blown out and it's just her eyes glowing blue. And I was like, oh my God, you're so cool. And it also reminded me of like Game of Thrones kind of. I was like, is she going to bring all the White Walkers back? Is that what's happening? And it was just, oh, so cool. And I like wanted to rewind that shot over and over and over. So if there's a GIF of that, someone please send it to me on Twitter. Cause goosebumps. Oh, so cool. I'm trying to look at #badass Rowena. Heck yeah. Sam had no idea what he released. I also agree, Deanna, because I'm a little scared of it. But I'm also like hoping because Sam helped her that maybe, crossing my fingers, maybe that she will be helpful. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Sam, you guys know how Sam is. He tends to just be kind of like, I look for the best in people, even if they're the worst and they've tried to kill us several times. I'm like, yeah, but Rowena's like that wild card where sometimes she'll be super, super helpful, and there are other times where she's just like, nah, I'm just here for my own benefit. But anyway, so Rowena's back. She's doing great. She looks great. I'm happy. So dang happy. Anyway, so let's talk about episode 13 really quickly because we're running out of time. We're talking about Devil's Bargain. So Cass is wandering through the forest again, just bloody and dirty, and he's just like, somebody help me. And then we get two boys who find his body, and I love how he's just like like he comes back to life, and they're just like, can we talk about how the fact that they were like running away because they're like, oh my God, a body came back to life, but then at like the very tail end you can kind of see them in the background and they're just kind of jogging you know, like, oh no, we're trying to run away but we don't know how far in the shot we are. And I thought that was really, really funny. So when they showed this part in the next part of this episode of Cupid helping out this couple, which in my head I was like, you just ruined, like, this baker who walks out and catches this rollerblader and drops this wedding cake on the ground. I was like, do you know how much time and effort went into this wedding cake? And you just plain ruined it. Like, because it wasn't hers and it wasn't his. It was a client's wedding cake. And now he has to start all over, or if he even cares, because now he found the one. I don't know. Oh, Billie Jean 24, Jensen's wife, and Mark Pellegrino in the hotel room looked weird. Oh, we'll get to that. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thought this. Oh my God, that entire thing. I was just like, why did we bring her on here? So gross. Anyway, so Cupid showed up and I was like, oh, it's a Cupid episode. Cool. No, Cupid was in there for like, what, maybe a minute or two and then died because Lucifer needed his grace. Oh Lord. I was like, what is happening? And Lucifer is also going through withdrawal pretty much, and he's feeling what humans feel, which is hunger, cold, loneliness, you know, and things like that. And I thought that was really, really cool, but also felt really bad. And I thought for sure he was going to kill that homeless kid that he was sitting next to and take his money. I thought that's what he was going to do, but I guess because he already used his power to kill Cupid, he was probably obviously running low. Excuse me. And he decided he was just going to do what this homeless kid was doing, which was to beg for money, but in a very Lucifer way, which is just to yell at people, give me money. But if we cut back to Asmodeus, or Amadeus as I've been calling him, he's upset because Lucifer and Cass are out. And he tells Ketch, like, we need to find them, plan B. Like, we need to figure out where they are and bring them back, or just kill them. Just kill them and we don't have to worry about it because I don't need him anymore. I need him to die is what I need. and especially because Lucifer's trying to fill up his grace tank, and he's like, I don't want, because we're pretty much all dead if he decides to do that. So yikes. Lucifer hangs out with that new guy, which I don't even know if we got a name. If anybody knows the name, put it in the chat. The name of our homeless guy. They go to a dumpster, and of course, like, he gets excited when he's like, you want to get some food? And then realizes that they're dumpster diving for food. And he learns some information that a woman, a healer, is healing people all over town, and you have to pay a good amount of money to do it. And he's saving up so that he can heal his leg. And I'm really glad he didn't kill this kid. I was super happy about it, because I thought that it was going to happen so he could take the money and go see Sister Joe, which I was super excited to see her, because this is obviously Mrs. Ackles. So I'm really happy that, one, she's a recurring role, because I was scared that she was just going to be a one-off, but I'm really glad she's going to be in the rest of the series, or at least in a few more episodes in the series. I'm very happy about that. But Sister Joe pretty much is a healer, aka she's the angel NIL, and I found out that she is also, she's not, I don't know if she's an archangel, but she's something else. I couldn't remember what it was, because I did research on it of like what she is, and I think she was either one of the horsemen or something like that. Like, she's a pretty powerful angel. So when things started to happen after, gosh, I don't even remember when the fall was, but when that happened, she was pretty much just like, yeah, I'm just gonna be here because I'm a businesswoman and I'm gonna make money and heal people because there's nothing else better to do, and I'm good with it. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the thing. Lucifer managed to kind of find a girlfriend. It was Jensen's wife. It's weird. Yes, I agree. How does one angel able to replenish its grace faster? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if you look up Angel NIL, there's some crazy backstory. And like I said, I don't remember if she's like a powerful archangel or if she's like one of like the horsemen. I can't quite remember which one it was. Yeah, season 8, The Fall. Thank you. Oh, she was a lower angel. Oh, she's a low-level angel. See, I mean, I looked it up because of the fact that I was looking up the name NIL, but maybe she is a low-level angel. I have no idea, because I don't know if it's completely the same for history or for whatever than to that. But clearly she's powerful enough because she has enough grace to do it. Because even when Cupid had just a little tiny bit of his grace taken, he pretty much was just kind of out of it and everything like that. But he's been taking a lot, not like a huge chunk of it, but there's a good amount of grace that he was taking, and he seemed fine. But I don't know if it's different because there's some weird sexual tension happening there. I don't know. It's weird. Love sassy Sister Joe. I agree. She was a bottom pusher. Yeah, her job was like pushing the bottom. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think I looked it up and there was some other crazy story that like that name went with, but I could be wrong. Either way, this character, Sister Joe, she's clearly just someone who's just wasn't doing well. And she's like, no, I'm doing great. I'm making money. I'm healing people. It's really nice. And I was like, hey, good for you. And so he finds her. They strike a deal together, and that she's like, hey, you don't have to kill me and take all my grace in one blow. Why don't you just take little by little and I'll help you. And of course, Lucifer can't, turn down a good deal like that where he's getting stuff and all he has to do is just kind of hang out with her at this point. So good for her. Yes, I agree, Renji. Clyde found his Bonnie. I thought that was very interesting, and I'm curious to see where this goes. I don't know if anybody else has a weird inkling that she might actually betray him later, because we kind of saw a little bit of it, maybe, in this episode, but we'll see. So, of course, they leave because after he takes her grace, which I was like, yo, you were way too close to her neck. Like, I understand that you're trying to take her grace, but I felt like it was, like, right up on there. I was like, what is happening? And she goes, how did you know where to find me? Does anybody know that you're here? And that was when, obviously, I guess we didn't talk about Sam and Dean. So Sam and Dean pretty much are trying to figure out where to find Lucifer, because Cass is finally back, told them that it wasn't him who was talking to him. It was Asmodeus and or Amadeus, and he says that he got out by the skin of his teeth and he needs to find Lucifer. And they bring Donatello back. So he needs him to read the demon tablet, which I thought was really, really cool that we're bringing that back, since Kevin Tran was reading the God tablet in the other world, to see if they can find a rift or find a way in to go save Mom and Jack. So, of course, Donnie's like, I need chicken wings ASAP. If you're gonna have me do this, like, right now. And he, so they go out and they do some research, and that's when they find Cupid's body, and then they also find the homeless guy, and he's like, yeah, we had a nice chat, and he went to go see Sister Joe because I told him about it. They show up, nobody's there because Sister Joe and Lucifer are now in some weird motel, just gracing it up, apparently, because that was weird. So I'm really, yes, it did seem like a moment for sure. Oh, Jazz says, Haniel, joy of God, Hebrew grace of God, is also known as Aniel. Haniel or Aniel is the angel of Jewish lore and aniology. It is often included in lists of being one of the 7 archangels. Thank you, Jazz. See, guys, I wasn't crazy. I'm just saying. But yes, I love that Kevin Tran was back. I really hope that he comes back in later episodes. I would assume so, because if we have to go back to Apocalypse World, he'll have to come back for something. But I loved having him back. I also love having Donatello back, and we'll obviously get into our big reveal at the very end of the episode. So they're back to this motel and some just really, really weird sexual tension. And in my head, maybe it's because we know that it's Jensen's wife. We're like, ooh, this is really weird. But at the same time, it's like, she's playing a character, so obviously Jensen, I'm assuming he's okay with it, because he's like, oh, she's acting, because I mean Jensen had to hit on women all the time in the beginning, so but I guess because it's her first episode that we're seeing, it's just kind of like, oh, all right. So I don't know, I thought it was weird. I was like, so are you guys like a thing now, or is it just like an angel thing where it just seems like getting your grace from somebody who's also on your same playing level, like not playing level as in like angel level, but the fact that they both are on the same thinking level, that maybe, I don't know, it seemed like there was some weird tension, sexual tension, just out of nowhere, out of left field. But then they have this really cute moment, cute quotes, that they're on the bed and they're talking about, how Lucifer was saying that he didn't want to feel cold and hungry ever again. And she was talking about the fact that people here that she heals are sad and alone or hurt or feel pain. But there's always this sense of hope in the very background. And they go through all those emotions and talk about that. And then Lucifer goes, I think that this will be a good opportunity to finally get back our grace and find a bigger plan. And I thought that was really, really interesting, because I wasn't expecting this next part, and how easy it was attainable for Lucifer. So obviously they find the hotel because Sister Joe used her credit card somewhere, because she didn't think, even though she knew that someone was following her, possibly, she was like, I'm gonna use my card, it's fine, no one's gonna know. And they track her to that weird motel. They pretend to be the people up front, or Sam does, and tries to use that as leverage to get her out. And her acting was really, really great. The character Joe, where she was like, oh yes, he's here, and he's holding me against my will, you gotta help me, kind of thing. I mean, like, not specifically in those words, but that they knew that they were gonna jump in and help her. And of course, Lucifer should have caught on to this, like, first on, when she goes, Lord Lucifer. I was like, she's never called you that before. But I love how Lucifer's like, oh, I like that. And I was like, why would she ever use that? She's never used it before. Why would she just all of a sudden, dumb boys sometimes. Anyway, so he opens the door. Obviously Sam and Dean are there, Castiel is there, and they're like, you're coming with us, and trying to stop him pretty much. And Joe just jumps into action, takes out, what was it, Sam first? Or Sam and Dean, I think. And Lucifer takes out Cass. They get into a crazy fight. And, oh, I forgot to bring up, obviously back at Sister Joe's place, Ketch is there because Asmodeus sent him to be like, hey, I need you to go find Lucifer and kill him. So they find him at Sister Joe's place, but also because he's like, we should strike a deal, we should work together. And of course, I feel like all of us were in the same boat, and we were like, no, this is not a good idea. You tried to kill us earlier. No. And he's like, but I saved you. And it's like, no. And so he shows up again at the hotel and tries to use this bomb thing to capture them. But Joe and Lucifer leave just like a hair of a second before that thing went off. And sadly enough, it did not help. Yeah, everybody was turned off. Sister Joe and Lucifer bed scene, but good luck. Character development for Lucifer. He's actually worried about being a good dad. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting, but I'm also I'm very excited to see what he would do with Jack, if that makes sense. I don't know. Oh, she never tossed Dean. Okay, well, I don't remember who. I thought it was Sam that she like pushed up against the wall. I can't remember. But yes, I agree. He does need to go. Will we ever see good angels again? Probably not. Yeah, I mean, but it was crazy seeing Cass being like thrown up against that mirror. That was nuts. So Ketch, you know, comes in and he's like, you guys clearly need my help, and we have the same enemy. We should just do this together. And of course, the boys kind of left it kind of open-ended at that point in time, even though they're like, when they go back to base, they're kind of like, we don't have really a choice. You know, we're up at our ends right now, and we don't have any help. So if Ketch is willing to help, maybe we should take him up on their offer. And it's just so tough. And Cass is just like, so what are we gonna do? And they're like, I guess we'll take him up on his offer. And they're like, well, what if he backstabs us? And then of course we have that moment of like Dean cocking back the gun, and I was like, and he's like, what do you think? And I was like, all right. But I love that Cass also rolled his eyes too. I thought that was really funny, where he's like, all right, we got it. But we also get a very interesting factor where Donatello, okay, Donnie. Why did Donnie leave base by himself to go get chicken wings? Why can't he wait? I understand that he was probably really hungry and he really needed something to help him because he's doing a lot of work and things like that, but don't leave. Don't go by yourself. Like, you don't do that. Do we not have E24 yet, or Grubhub? Like, can't order takeout something, or tell the boys to bring some back really quickly? I don't know, man. I was just like, don't leave. Don't do this. You don't know what's out there. And of course, when Asmodeus found out from one of his lackeys that they found the prophet, he turned into Cass and told him, you know, that he changed back into himself, but he was like, you know, you need to tell me what information you get as soon as you get it. And of course, Donnie, who's, you know, vulnerable, is like, sure. And I love we have that moment, especially because me and the girls have been talking about it, where he takes a piece of the chicken, smells it, and he's like, ugh. And I was like, ma, because we always call him the Colonel, but he doesn't like chicken. Oh, I love it. I mean, true, he doesn't have a soul, but I don't know, man. I'm just like, don't leave him by himself. Give him lots of food. Just give him lots of sustenance. Give him something in the base so that he doesn't have to leave. Like, what if Donnie died? What then? What if it was just like, oh, we're just gonna kill him so that they can't use him? You never know. It's little things. So now the boys are now gonna have to team up with Ketch. We get Lucifer and Joe meeting up with the other angels, and he gives them a deal of like, hey, here's my deal. If you guys team up with me and let me be your new ruler, because I can make more angels, I'll give you guys your wings back and new angels, and we can just take over from here. And they took it. They just were like, oh my God, that sounds great. And now he's back in heaven because the big guy's gone. And he's gonna run it now. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm kind of like, okay, this is gonna be interesting, because I want to see now if that means that all the angels are completely corrupt, if they will fight back and maybe like, no, I'm not gonna follow his rule, you know, things like that. So I'm very intrigued to see how that goes. And also, we have another trick up a sleeve with Amadeus with his thing where he shows Ketch the Archangel blade. And he goes, well, in lore, you can't kill another archangel unless an archangel is wielding the blade. And then we get the coolest thing where he goes into a locked up cell, opens up the door and goes, Mr. Ketch, may I introduce you to? And then, of course, I had no idea who it was when it happened. When he brought his head up and the light shone, like right here, I was like, no, they brought Gabriel back for that. Aww. And so I'm so excited to see where this is gonna go. I'm also really sad about Gabriel because his mouth is sewn up. Like, like Deadpool style, and I'm like, oh, poor baby, and I'm just, oh my God, the season just got, that was a huge twist that I was not anticipating. I don't know if anybody else was thinking about it, but whoa. I agree, Renji. I don't know where Chuck is and what he's doing, because I think he's with his sister, right? But you need to go back and you need to figure this out. Get it together. Your kids are all over the place. I definitely thought it was gonna be our Michael, but I was like, there's no way. He's dead, right? Like, he's gone. But oh, so cool. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm so happy that Gabriel is back. That is insane. Thank you, Billie Jean girl. Yeah, I'm like still kind of like, because I just rewatched the episode, so I'm just like, oh my God, that's so cool. But anyway, so for predictions, I don't have many at this point.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I don't have many at this point. I'm very intrigued to see what they do with Gabriel's character and how he's going to be used, because clearly he's been going through some stuff from what we saw. It's gonna be nuts. I definitely think Rowena's gonna come back and help in some way, shape, and form, or just take over. I don't really know how she's gonna do it, but it's gonna be insane. I think that Sister Joe is going to betray Lucifer in some way, shape, and form so that she can be the head, because it makes sense if she was like the lowest of the low when she was up in heaven. I can totally see her trying to take over and maybe trying to run things herself. That would be cool, but also very interesting to see if she succeeds. I'm hoping that we get to see more of the apocalypse world with Kevin Tran and Mary Winchester and Jack, and see like how they're doing. Is Bobby Singer going to be showing up again? I don't know. And I also want the Wayward Sisters to come back and help out in some way, shape, and form, because even though I know they're having a spinoff, I would like for them to come back just one episode, one more for me, because that episode was so cool. So I wouldn't mind having them back. There's a lot of players on the field right now, and I'm very intrigued to see what could happen, because there's so many different ways it can go. So tell me your predictions down in the comments below, or tweet at me or Lucretia Lyon or Shauna and let us know what you guys think of the next few episodes. I believe we're off for a little bit, so we'll keep you updated as the episodes continue. So definitely no episode next week, so definitely check in for that. I'm trying to read through more stuff now. That's what I want to know is AU Chuck. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think that Chuck's gonna come back? Do we think that like God's just out of the picture and he's just letting his kids run amok? I don't know. I'm very excited to see where it goes. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and letting me babble about these 2 episodes, because they were awesome and I cannot wait for the show to come back. I'm Alexis Torres. You guys can find me all over social media at atorres890. That's ATORRES 890. And we will see you when the show comes back. And again, keep track of us. Lucretia Lyon at Lucretia Lyon, and Shauna at DShaunaO. You guys are all wonderful, beautiful people. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And if you're not into that, just show some love to your friends and family, because they deserve it too. And we will see you guys when the show comes back. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos,
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.